Saturday night's main event is over. The era has ended. The guys, let me give it to you in this perspective. Now that John Cena has retired, it's going to be a big question what's going to come next. I don't have any answers. And I'm sure many people say, well, there's plenty of people that can take John Cena's place. No. Just like Undertaker, there will be no Undertaker. There will be no Randy Orton. And there will be no John Cena. They will have to create someone completely different. If they try to make another cookie cutter like they did with Roman Reigns, it wouldn't work. Look what happened with Roman. They tried to do a Cena style type of thing with him. It didn't work until they went away from it and made an entirely new standard with Roman Reigns. But John is retired now. And was it a good retirement? Now that's what we're doing in this video. I mean, we're going to talk about everything that was there, but I'm going to be honest here. There were decisions here I did not agree with. It weren't. There were decisions here I do not agree with at all. But let's start with the first match, which I do not agree with. Obafemi versus Cody Rhodes. Now, was it a bad match? No, it was not. It was not a bad match at all. Cody did all right, at least until he got thrown onto the commentator's desk and looked like he popped his eardrum. I think I got a shot of it. It's in my face. You could see it as he's laying flat on the mat, or either seeing it when he's standing up. I don't know which one I'm going to use. But essentially speaking, it's this. As he was working with Oba, he popped his eardrum, or somehow popped his ear, maybe in his earlobe, and he just started to bleed. He was bleeding. It looked like it was from his ear. He might have had a popped eardrum. I'm hoping he's all right. But as that match went on, and we all knew, let's put our cards on the table. We all knew that Drew was going to interfere in the match. We knew he was going to show up because he didn't show up when Nick Aldis talked to him. He refused. So we knew he was going to be there. So we expected that he would help Oba win, even though Oba didn't need to have his help. But what we got was a cop-out. A cop-out. I'm sorry. If anybody says that this was all right, I do not agree. You got your opinion. You deserve your opinion because that's your opinions. Me personally, if you're trying to build new stars, you needed Obafemi to win this non-title match. Neither one of them were going for each other's titles. This was to spotlight the premier of NXT, the one who's the current standard, who just got his title back from Ricky Saints. And it would have been good for him to win. It wouldn't have hurt Cody if you had done it correctly and let Drew just screw him over, because that would continue the feud. But no. As the match was nearing the point where it looks like Oba might win, Drew jumps into the ring and attacks Cody, which DQs it. Which means, if you remember how WWE goes, unless they say it's a no contest, which I did not hear, the one who gets attacked is the one who wins the match. So, Obafemi didn't ask Drew to do it, but he attacked Cody. And unless it's a no contest match, where neither one lost, Cody won. And then, what did we get? Afterward, Obafemi shoving Drew around, getting pissed off, Drew getting his ass handed to him, not just by Cody, but Obafemi himself. And now, both of them holding the titles up high, which means nothing. They really did need someone winning here. They needed this going into 2026. They needed to really solidify Obafemi, but they chose not to do it. It could not be because Cody had possibly a ruptured eardrum or an earlobe, because it looked like his earlobe might have been punctured as well. Either his earlobe was punctured or his eardrum was punctured. I don't know which one it was. It would have been better for Oba just to win the match, and then Cody get his ass whooped afterward quickly, and then Drew just left. But no. Cody gets hurt. He's bleeding. And they send Drew in to whoop his ass, which means Drew caused Cody to win the match. And it doesn't help Oba, which it should. It should help Oba, because he's a damn champion. I do not agree with this. I don't know what the fallout is going to be for this NXT show. I don't know, because legitimately, if I'm right, they've already recorded the last few shows already for this year. They're not going to be doing anything live, I don't believe. So we're going to have to wait until January at New Year's Eve to find out what happened. It sucks. I don't agree with this. This sucks. Now, the next match, which I'm like, no. And that angers me, because I like her. Bayley versus Soruka. Now understand, I've talked about Soruka for more than a few years now. She's one of those females that I actually think that has great potential. Yes, she does more gymnastics than wrestling. It's obvious, but people like it. For me personally, I wish she toned it back a little bit more and give herself a little bit more of a repertoire as a pro wrestler than as they called her, a gymnast and tumbler. And yes, it helped her for being a stunt woman and also going into wrestling. I understand that. She's been basically setting herself up to do pro wrestling. But it still feels like she needs more pro wrestling in her style than tumbling and gymnastics. And she could have lost here. She should have lost here. Oba winning would have been fine. And Soul losing here would have been fine. And then, as I said before, if you watch my NXT review, Soul and Zarya just started being friends again. Well, they were never stopped being friends, but now they supposedly patched things up. Wouldn't it have been better for Zarya to screw over Soul here and start their feud? No. We get Soul winning with a Soul Snatcher on Bayley. Now, understand, I'm not against Soul. I actually like Soul. She has character. She's not bad. And with Zarya still working with her, they have a compelling storyline. Let's make it very clear. Eventually, Soul and Zarya are going to go to blows. They're going to be feuding. It's going to happen. The question is, are they going to do it next year? Or are they just going to keep dragging this out when they shouldn't? That's going to be the big question. But I liked them. But I didn't expect her to win here, and she shouldn't have won. This was supposed to spotlight her, not to give her a win. She didn't need it. Next, the match that I was happy about. Devon Evans and Leon Slater versus the current champions of AJ Styles and Dragon Lee. This was a good match. It was a good tag match. And I have to say this. At this point, if you don't agree with me, I can understand, but why not? Because right now, Dark State are holding the NXT tag titles. Why? These two should have already gotten them. Leon Slater, Devon Evans, a partnership between NXT and TNA, which is still going on. Why not let these two be tag champions? They're exciting. They're both generally charismatic. They both can go in the ring. They both understand, to a certain extent, psychology. I do believe that Leon Slater knows it a little bit better than Devon Evans. But who is had more matches than Devon Evans? Not Leon Slater. And I don't mean it in the respect of the amount of years that he's been in it. He's been in since he was 9. It's about more high-profile matches than Leon Slater has had on TNA. So between the two, who's had more bigger matches, it's going to be Devon Evans. But who is more charismatic and who is, honestly, I believe, a better high flyer than Devon Evans is Leon Slater. They complement each other. And I truly believe they should already be NXT Tag Champions, and they're not. And I don't understand why they won't pull the trigger on these two. Why? Because they don't want both companies to have each a title? Or worse, they don't know how to write for both companies? That what's going on in creative in NXT is not matching up with the creative in TNA. You can't tell me you can't make some type of agreement that you can defend them on NXT TV and at an Impact Plus, well, TNA Plus show, you can't have them actually defended there. Well, that's once a month. So NXT will have them all the time. And TNA could actually have them do a match maybe once every other month. While you're doing this collaboration, it would make sense. And they're not doing it. And it makes no sense. Everybody else is going to say, oh, it doesn't matter. I believe it does. I really believe this would help TNA. And it would help NXT. Something you would not normally see. Two different guys from two different companies holding one singles title, two titles in the other company. And they go back and forth periodically. I think that would be the wisest thing, but it's just me. You guys tell me below. And I know they're going to say, dude, you know Leon Slater lives in the UK. It don't matter. If he wants to take on that load of coming back and doing work in TNA and NXT, and he's willing to do it, it don't make a difference if he gets tired. That is what he wants to do. He's 21. If he wants to do it, let him do it. Now, let's get these things in the back done. The people that showed up there, Kurt Angle, Mark Henry, a little bit of RVD. We had, I don't remember who else was right next to Trish Stratus. It was somebody next to her. I don't remember. I think Torres was there. I can't remember. I think she was there. But a lot of people showed up to see John Cena. And they had a maximum of 19,232 people in the arena in D.C. Is that the biggest number they ever had? I don't know. I don't think so. I think they've had it bigger. But if it is, fine. But this is what we got for the last match of John Cena. And we got a Miz sighting. I'm like, are you seriously bringing out the Miz to complain that he is being ignored? Then you get R-Truth coming out saying, I know you stole the ball. You stole the balls from Nick Aldis. I got it right here. And he says, give me that. You took someone's opportunity. What did he say? Joe Henry. He shows up. They whoop the Miz's ass. Give Joe Henry a moment with R-Truth. Do I believe Joe Henry needed the R-Truth and Miz moment? Well, if he's going on the main roster, yeah. He will be going on the main roster soon. He's very popular. And I do believe it's somewhere in the beginning, the middle of next year. Maybe the middle of next year, I think he'll be called up. Because he's polished enough to be on the main roster. He understands the system for WWE. He's been on NXT for a bit now. So I truly do believe he'll be fine. He'll be alright. But the question's going to be this. Was it necessary? Many people didn't mind it. I'm sure other people are going to say, oh, a Miz again. I think JD will not like it. But I will give you this. If you see for what it was just spotlighting a... Well, he didn't have a match. There was no way he can get a match. Because it was only 4 matches. So spotlighting Joe Henry is not a bad thing. The question now is what's going to happen in NXT. Because that's where he is right now. And the question is, what is he doing on the NXT now? After having this moment with The Miz. Will The Miz come to NXT and screw with him because of what just happened with him and R-Truth? That's what I'm hoping for. Because they need to do something that can give him something to go into the main roster. But it's just me. Now, final match. This is where I know a lot of people were mad. And a lot of people were saying I knew it was going to happen. And a lot of people were saying it was perfectly alright. Gunther versus John Cena. The last ride of John Cena. I believe that's the right name for this. I'm going to tell you this. The match was overbooked heavily to give as many spots as possible to Gunther, as many spots as possible to John Cena. But who had the most spots? Gunther. He gave 2 power bombs, 2 almost 3 to 4 lariats. No, clotheslines, not lariats. Almost 6 sleeper holds. And that was the thing. They booked this to make John Cena tap out. And the fans were completely behind John Cena. They were telling Gunther, fuck you, Gunther, at one point. They were eating him alive. They did not want him to win. But obviously, he had to win. If Ubafemi was not going to win against Cody Rhodes, they literally cheaped out on Ubafemi winning his non-title match, which wouldn't have made any damage to Saturday Night's main event if Gunther and Uba had won. It wouldn't have hurt anyone. It would have been fine. Spotlighting NXT stars is not a problem. But they didn't want to go there. So I knew Gunther had to win, no matter what anybody wanted. I don't care if it was JD, Alex, or anyone. He had to lose, John Cena. And Gunther had to win. If John Cena won, what was the point of Gunther? What was the point of him? You could have just put anyone in that position to win. And that would have been the end of it. And you wouldn't have had to hurt Gunther. But Gunther had to win. And the match was good for what it was. It was very good. 6 sleeper holds. Not one long sleeper hold. 6 of them were placed on John Cena. He managed to get what? 3 or 4 AAs on Gunther, but Gunther kept kicking out. And one of those AAs, he threw him onto the table. You got 3 power bombs from Gunther. And I do believe it was 3 or 4 clotheslines, not lariats, but clotheslines to John Cena. But at the end, he had to, and this is John, had to go through not 1 sleeper hold. He had to go through 6 of them, and then getting elbowed in the neck to be able to finally reach a point. And you can see the picture in my face, John's face, where he's grinning that he knows he's done. I don't have the part of him tapping out. I do believe I have the shot of him just grinning before he taps. His hand is just where my hand is right now. And then he taps. And that was it. John's done. He is finished. It is over. And after it was over, John took his bows and he said, thank you. This is all I got. Thank you. But then the entire roster came out. And when you see Triple H come out, and everyone knows Triple H is booking, everyone said, you fucked up. They didn't say, Triple H, you fucked up, but you fucked up. They were that pissed off. And then were others who just did it because they just wanted to. But there were a lot of people that really felt John should have won when he's not supposed to. It is customary, tradition. It is tradition, guys. You guys know it. Or, just in case you're new to pro wrestling or new to me, hi. Pro wrestling fan since I've been 6. I'm 54 years old. I do admit I missed about 10 years in between where I got married and then got separated and divorced, but for all those years, I did watch pro wrestling. But I can tell you this. It is customary that any wrestler that's going out, either going to a new company or in this case, John retiring, normally they give in. They do the best they can to try and give a shine to someone new. That's Gunther. And I can tell you this. The vid pack was beautiful. And seeing that not only CM Punk, who jumped into the ring after John hugged Triple H and everyone still said, boo, and you fucked up, both of them handed their titles to John to hold above his head to say he is the true champ. He's going, why are you doing this? Just do it. That is what they both would tell him. Here, put these on your shoulders, hold them over your head. You are the true champ of this company, which he is. And now, he does that. Triple H hugs him. And then we get a vid pack of him with everyone complimenting him. It's very well done. The vid pack, the video package was very well done. And there was one person in there, I don't know if you're going to notice if you watched it, one person did speak. And take a guess who. It was Vince himself. Vince McMahon did a video pack and did a video. He spoke. I don't believe that was an old footage of him. I truly do believe that might have been Vince currently that yes, he is not with the company, but someone must have went to him and said, Vince, John's retiring. Are you willing to say something on video? And he did. Now, understand this by my point of view. This is not about if I hate Vince or if I love Vince. This is about what it means for John Cena's legacy. He would not be where he is if Vince did not push him. Vince saw something in John. And yes, let's make it very clear. Did John get rammed down our throat by Vince McMahon? Yes, he did get rammed down the throats of a lot of adult fans. But the kids loved him because he worked. He was the right type of person at the right time for the children. And talking about Make-A-Wish, they didn't say it openly, but him doing the most Make-A-Wishes really did help a lot for the company. And let's make this very clear. Vince showing up does not diminish anything of that video. Vince being in there doesn't diminish it. It was done very well. And after it was all done and he gave his bows again, he took off his sneakers, he took off his wristbands, he took off his armband, he gave it a kiss, put it in the ring, and then he walked away. Gave a salute, as you can see in my face, and that's it. John is officially retired from in-ring competition. Now, does that mean John is finished with the company? No. Because as it stands now, John now has a legacy contract because he's now an ambassador for WWE. Or should I say, Silver Lake WWE. Silver Lake WWE has given him a Legends contract where pretty much he's just going to be an ambassador. So when he's not doing movies, or if he does television, which like Peacemaker, if he's going to do Peacemaker again, I think they're done with Peacemaker now. I think Peacemaker season 4 might be filmed. I'm not sure. Because I have never seen Peacemaker. But if he's going to do another TV series or do another movie, when he's not doing that, he will be the ambassador to WWE. He will go around, talk for them, maybe find talent for them. Whatever they need is whatever he's going to be doing from now on. And that's what he wants to do. I will tell you this. John Cena's legacy is going to be one of the rare legacies that cannot be topped. The only ones like himself that will never be topped will be, and it's 4 of them. Hulk Hogan, whether you like him or not. 5 of them. I take that back. Not 4. 5. No, should it be 5 or 6? 6. John Cena himself. Hulk Hogan. The Ultimate Warrior. When it comes to, you gotta say him, Vince McMahon, The Undertaker, and Stone Cold Steve Austin. Those 6 individuals, and I know you're going to say there are others that are greater, like Shawn Michaels, like Triple H. I know. But you have to understand which ones had made the most change in culture. Remember, Stone Cold changed society in some form of fashion with Austin 316 and the way he acted. The Ultimate Warrior also changed a lot of culture, along with Hulk Hogan. Vince McMahon changed wrestling permanently. The Undertaker, he's changed culture as well. And finally with John Cena. And it takes nothing away from all the other people that are there that easily could be near them. But the ones who have changed so much of society's culture of the United States and around the world, he's one of them. He will never be topped, no matter what. And you know why? And this is the truth. You may not want to hear it. John was the last, and I repeat, the last pro wrestler who worked for a company that doesn't exist anymore. That's the thing. Unless WWE goes private without being owned by Silver Lake, the era of a promotion by itself creating a wrestler persona that completely redefines culture itself. There is no more. WWE doesn't exist anymore. It is owned by Silver Lake. TNA is owned by Anthem. AEW isn't owned by a company, but it is owned by a multi-billionaire that owns multiple companies. So he can easily make that into a satellite company. But there is no other new company out there that's going to be able to top what John did and change all of society in some form or fashion, motivated in a different way, made it possible for people to see something special. But this is only my point of view. And I hope you enjoy my Saturday night's main event review. Please give me a comment below. I'm going to see if I can make some videos in the next couple of days. So we will have something when Christmas comes around. Counting if there isn't any type of regular shows. Which I don't think there will be. There will probably be specials. So I'll see if I can record something. Peace.